What's going on, Chemical Guys family? Thanks so much for tuning in for today's episode of Chemical Guys Detail Garage. Now we have this really awesome Jeep Patriot in the shop, which we've recently washed it and also we enhanced the undercarriage of the vehicle. But as we were walking around it, inspecting the paintwork, we saw that it has minor scuffs and scratches throughout the vehicle, as well as some superficial scratches that we're going to show you how to properly remove today using our Torque 10 Effects. So this is our Torque 10 Effects dual action polisher with an 8mm throw, which means that it oscillates and it also rotates with an 8mm offset, which covers about the standard size of your vehicle, which is also attached to a 5-inch backing plate, which is also a standardized pad. And this is going to gently remove a fine layer of the clear coat while refining the finish to give you this mirror-like gloss. As you can see already, the car has a beautiful shine. It has a lot of the metallic flake enhanced because the owner routinely details this, but things happen where you get scratches in your vehicle. You can drag your belts across and cause these deeper scratches. This looks like a shopping cart was done, or possibly hit the vehicle and it's done this. So you can remove it using one simple polish, which is VSS. This is a scratch and swirl remover designed to be a one-step polish, which means it's only a one pass or a one product for your polishing step. That doesn't mean you don't need to wash the car or clay the car, but since this car has already been detailed, it's already been through that process, so we're going to jump right into the polishing step. But again, a one step just means you're only using one type of polish or compound. This starts off as a micro abrasive that diminishes and refines into a final polish. We're going to use about the size of one hex or one dime size. We're going to use 5 of those dime size dots. And also using some pad conditioner, which helps to moisten the pad, which reduces friction and also cuts down any kind of dusting. And now a lot of people ask us, how do you polish on body lines or contours? So I'm going to show you the proper steps that I use, which will show you across this area here. But what we're going to do first is work on this deeper scratch, and what we're going to do to start off is blotch it out in about a 2 foot by 2 foot section, which is about your shoulder width apart. And on the lowest speed setting, we're going to spread this out into an even coat. And on the highest speed setting on our dual action polisher, we're going to refine it and break it down until it diminishes into a very clear, translucent product, and then wipe it off and check our work. So now the product is spread out, we're going to bump it up to the higher speed setting, but you want to make sure that the pad is completely flat at all times. This way you're not digging in, which could stall the pad, which means you're not actually doing any correction. But you also want to make sure that you're not creating a hot spot by dipping or diving too much or applying too much pressure. So what I recommend doing is apply, or whichever hand is your dominant hand, that'll be your guiding hand. And you want to move about 1 inch per second. That'll be your arm speed. Just keeping an eye on which way you're dipping and diving, but don't want to, obviously stop the pad. So that's why we have these lines on the backing plate. This will show you that the pad is constantly spinning, and this way you know that you're actually correcting. But we're also going to use a cross-hatching pattern, which removes an even amount of clear coat. This way you get the best finish overall. So now again, we're going to bump it up to the high speed setting, and this will do actual paint correction. So now you see that the product has gone basically translucent or clear, and now it's time to buff off the excess. So I'm just going to take a clean microfiber towel and wipe away the spent product. That's way we can check our work. We can see using the cross-hatching pattern, just like you're mowing a lawn, that removes an even amount of clear coat and refines that top layer. This way you get a uniform shine without any tiger stripes or holograms. And again, you want to make sure you're moving about 1 inch per second. This way, again, you're not moving too fast, which is not correcting enough, or you're leaving behind some polish that leaves behind micro scratches. But something I wanted to mention also is, like a lot of you guys ask, is how do you polish up against these body lines or curves on a vehicle? If your car has a lot of the rounded edges, it's fine to roll across it as long as the pad is mostly flat as you're working. But when you're coming up against a body line, what I would recommend doing is, this is going to be your low spot, like the valley here, so you're going to work into it this way. And then when we want to work across this edge, we want to get the same results as the top half. So what we do is work from this half up, kind of breaking it down into sections. So you'd have one flat panel, and you can also work against this edge here. And then this will be another section, and then obviously 2 by 2, so that's going to be another section. But what I recommend doing is just ensuring that you're not going over extreme body lines. These are pretty mild, but there's sharper body lines where the paint's going to be thinner. So you obviously don't want to linger too long on those edges because the paint's going to be thin in there, which has the potential to burn it, especially if you're using a rotary. So if you're new to polishing, a dual action or a random orbital is the way to go. But if you are using a rotary, you just want to ensure that you're not sitting on edges for too long because they create a lot of heat in one generalized area very quickly, and that can, again, harm the paint. So now we're going to move on to down here where you see this scuff that could have been caused by, like I had said, maybe a shopping cart or possibly a fender or somebody else's bumper. And I'm just going to show you the same process of removing it using now this new technique where we're coming up from the bottom rather than working down. We're going to still use that same cross-hatching pattern if we can, covering about 50% of our last pass. This way we're getting the same uniform shine over the entire door. And there you have it, guys. The scratches have been virtually removed using the one-step polish, and it's very easy to do. So a lot of you guys who are beginners or maybe even you're seasoned in polishing and detailing, very simple to do to get your car looking its best. And as you saw here, we taped off the trim because, again, we're working in a small area. If you wanted to, you could switch it down to a 3-inch backing plate and a 3-inch pad, but 5-inch is fine, especially on a bigger car like this. A lot of American cars have a lot of flat panels, so it's really easy to work around, just as long as you're precautious by taping off any kind of texturized plastic or rubber trim that can stain very easily. So I'll take this off and give it one last wipe down, and then we're going to protect it. Now you guys can use a ceramic coating, you can do a combination of glaze sealant or waxes, but the owner of this loves butter wet wax, so what we're going to do is add a layer of jet seal and then finish off butter wet wax to enhance the shine as well as get the same protection around the rest of the vehicle. But in the meantime, you guys can check out these products on our website, chemicalguys.com, or at your local detail garage. If you liked today's video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, drop your comments down below for future videos, and we'll see you next time.